Good morning. Today we're in Leamington Spa and we are cleaning and resealing this huge pattern imprinted concrete driveway. So this is like a stamped concrete. They pour the concrete slab and then they stamp a pattern into it, and then it gets sealed with a very particular concrete sealer that's got like a tint in it to sort of give you that nice colour. It comes in all different types of colours, and if it's not sort of maintained every couple of years, it does start to fade a little bit. So what we're going to try and do is clean it today, then come back in about 4 or 5 days and see if we can bring some of that colour back into it. I want to clean this as well. I'm going to ask the customer if we can clean that, because that'll be very satisfying. When it's dry it can look very faded and stuff, but occasionally if you're to wet the surface you see that colour start to come back through, and you can see over here where we've just attached the hose. I'm just going to suck out these gullies here and just make sure this is nice and clear for our drainage, but you can see where it's been wet here. There is actually a decent amount of red still left, and this is essentially what it would look like if we were to spray sealer on top of it, clear sealer. It will re-emulsify the surface and it will bring that colour back. But this is under shelter, none of this has been sort of weathered or really driven on that much, so I want to see whether the rest of the drive is going to look like that when it's wet, and if it does, chances are we can just put a clear sealer on it and it'll bring all that colour back. We'll probably do 2 coats. If it doesn't, if there are still patches that don't have colour, or if it's really faded even when it's wet, then we're going to need to add like a tint, like an additive to the sealer before we can put it down. Are we all hooked up, Jakey boy?
Ready to go.
Alright, tanks are filling up. I think we're going to have one of us on the surface cleaner and then one of us just sort of rinsing behind. We'll suck these guts. And then I think we'll get started. What you generally find with imprinted concrete is you get these relief joints, and they're generally filled up with silicone or something that stops all the crap getting down in there. But they have these relief cuts in there to stop the cracks. So every so often you'll see like a deep relief cut, and if they didn't have those, these slabs can sort of swell over time. And when the ground moves and with the heat and all that sort of stuff, you can tend to get big cracks across the face of it. But yeah, to avoid that, they put those in. The other thing we need to do, instead of just blasting these with the turbo nozzle, I'm going to try and pull some of this out before we start. Oh, that's actually coming up nice and easy, so that shouldn't be too difficult. Beautiful. Water pressure's not bad. We're splitting this water pressure between 2 tanks because we've obviously got the 2 machines. I mean, we're in no rush today. We're gonna take it easy today and just make sure we get the result. We're gonna post treat it with hypo. Long intro, sorry about that. Let's get going. Is it?
It's all stuck behind this wire as well.
Oh, it's all like thick dirt.
They come out.
Let's pull them out, I think. Ugh, I need my gloves on. Yeah, just pull them out to the side. Make sure we've got that good drainage. Pooey. Really pooey.
Look at that. Disgusting.
I bet there's some frogs and all sorts in there.
Don't say that.
At least we've actually got a proper drain there. We'll suck that one out as well, just to make sure that's free flowing up. I'm guessing that just ends up in there. Just goes down the corner. That's fine. You know what I just said about a frog in them gutters? There's actually a frog in the gutters. What the hell?
Oh, don't touch it.
You've sucked that up through the... You've sucked him through the hose, haven't you? Oh, poor guy. I hope he's not injured. You alright, mate? Bless him. Should we give him a little rinse? I feel terrible. We'll have to put him over... There's a pond over there. We'll have to put him over there. I think he's a toad. We always end up finding stuff. Oh, let's put him up there. Go on, matey. Go on. He's moving a bit slow. I don't think he's very happy with us.
Thing is, wasn't he stuck in those guts? We might have sucked him up, yes, but we have saved his life.
We've saved another life. Smelts pressure washing to the rescue. Yeah, because he was blocked in there, wasn't he? So you might be thinking to yourself, this guy sounds like he knows what he's doing. This is actually only my third time sealing pattern imprinted concrete, and it's only my fourth time ever using concrete sealer at all. I have been taught all the foundations which give me a little bit of confidence going into a project like this by Pure Seal. I was given the opportunity by Pure Seal to do one of the first Module 1 approved applicator courses a few years ago, and I think it's well worth it for anyone wanting to offer some of these more specialist services. I've got an affiliate link in the description, so please go and click on it if you want to look at the course dates and see which ones are coming up soon. Although after saying all that, I think I'm carrying a little bit of a curse when it comes to using this type of sealer. My first job was a little bit of a disaster. I didn't realise that trying to change the colour of pattern imprinted concrete is extremely difficult. Safe to say I made no money on that job, and it took way longer than I expected, so it was a huge loss all round, to be honest. My second time using the concrete sealer introduced me to the dreaded flash drying, which is where you're applying the sealer while the ground or the air temperatures are too hot, and it causes it to blister or glaze over, and it turns the whole surface white. Very expensive, very time consuming to fix, and it's another job that I lost a lot of money on. My third experience with concrete sealer, I tried using a brush instead of a roller, and probably spent more time picking the loose hairs out of the surface than I did actually sealing it, and it blistered a little bit in the joints because I was still brushing it in while it was too hot. These are all negative experiences, and this job today is no exception to the trend, but I'm glad that they've all happened because they've taught me loads. And now I carry an infrared thermometer in the van along with a moisture meter to check that the surface isn't too damp. And my expectations are much more in line with reality, so I can sort of set the customer's expectations before over-promising and potentially under-delivering. It's also beneficial knowing when not to overcomplicate things, and this can be a bit of a learning curve if you're fairly new to sealing. The reason I'm saying all this is because it's quite easy to watch all these YouTube videos of people who look like they know exactly what they're doing. They only show you the good bits. And so when you go out and try it, you realise it's way more difficult than you expected, and you probably end up failing a couple of times before you succeed. But that is perfectly normal. Everyone has to go through failure to achieve success. That's just the way it is. You can't get past it. So the more times you fail, the closer you're going to get to success. So the last thing I want is for you guys to be watching my videos thinking, I always know exactly what I'm doing and I never make mistakes. I see failure or mistakes as opportunities now to show how resilient I am. It's very easy to mess up and then just run and hide and pretend like it didn't happen. But real character comes from going back and fixing those mistakes, learning from them and improving for next time. In my opinion, that is what builds the foundations of a good business and a customer base that are going to keep coming back to you year after year. It's all about honesty and integrity. job we got rid of that toad before we did this, isn't it?
Killed him.
It'd have been fried. Good morning. It is day 2. Everything's nice and dry. This is about 4 days later. It's 7 o'clock. Well, it's 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. Got a bit of tape to cover these up. We've got our sealer over by the van over there. Jakey's just going around. He's having a little sweep. The customer's been really helpful, and they've already been round last night with the leaf blower. But there are still a few bits between the joints that we've got to get up. But it's not looking bad. Now that it's fully dry, there's a lot more dry patches than I expected. Because when it's wet, it all looks shiny. But we have got some places where there's still sealer on the surface, but then other places right next to it are looking really dry. And yeah, these could do with a good couple of coats of sealer. So the plan for the first coat, well, I'm going to ring Nigel from Smart Seal in a minute, because he's been very helpful, and he's basically guiding me through this whole process just to make sure it goes smoothly. Help me out a bit with materials as well. So the plan is to do the first coat with the matte sealer, and the reason we're doing that one is so that we can apply the tint. So this is like a plum tint. He sent me 2. He sent me the this one's called Deep Red, but that looks more sort of orangey for this drive. The plum, I think, is going to suit it much better. So the first coat we're going to mix in the plum and then sort of reassess. I think we're planning on just doing 1 coat today, because it's going to get really warm today. It's quite overcast at the moment, but it's supposed to get very warm. If that goes down nicely and we're happy, we'll do a second coat with the silk sealer. The silk. I've also got my weighing scales just so I can weigh out how much tint that I'm going to need to add. If we're not happy with the colour, we'll do a second coat with the tint rather than just a second clear coat. But I'm rambling now because I'm avoiding the inevitable. Just going to get started, I think. Right. So I'm just putting a bit of xylene on these white patchy areas to try and get rid of the white, and it's doing quite a good job actually. Got the customer doing a bit of leaf blowing for us. Jakey's having a sweep. Looking good, that is. It'd be difficult to get behind there, you might want to do that bit now. Okay, we're just over halfway through. We've done down the side there, we're all the way up to here, and we've ran out. The first tub is, well, it's about to be done, and we've still got all that left to do. So didn't anticipate being on the second tub already. That was supposed to be for a second coat, but I'm just going to mix a little bit more now. Then obviously we've got the clear silk one to go over the top, but we're using a little bit more than I expected to use, so not sure what the plan is. Might have to order some more for the second coat. We'll see what Nigel says. I'm going to send him a video. I'm wondering if the silk one will make all these drier looking patches a bit shinier now that we've got the tint on the whole lot. It's definitely improved things, but there are still a little bit dry patches over there. So I'm going to mix this now. Same again, and we'll carry on. If you've made it this far, I post videos like this fairly regularly, so I'd really appreciate if you'd hit the subscribe button, maybe even give the video a thumbs up. It helps YouTube recommend it to a few more people. And obviously I don't film every single thing I do, but if you do want to keep up with what I'm doing on a daily basis, you should check out my Instagram or Facebook pages, where you'll see most of what we get up to throughout the week. And also, for whatever reason, I've decided to start taking photos of whatever me and Jakey decide to have for lunch pretty much every day. So if you want to see that as well, if that's your thing, drop us a follow. Okay, that is the first coat down. It's 11:30 and we got here at about 8. How you feeling?
It absolutely ruins your back.
Yeah, the broom handles need to be longer. You're not supposed to leave any product in between the joints. You're supposed to remove all that pooling, but we really have done our best to do that, and it just keeps, there's nothing you can do. We're literally scraping the sealer out of the joints, and then you turn around and it's all back in there again. Very difficult to not allow it to pull. Still looking very patchy. Morning everyone, it's day 3, welcome back. So this is how the driveway is looking now, after the sealer's fully dried. Looking much better. We're in a good position now, I think, for the second coat. It is still looking very dry in places, you know, in comparison to that, for example. So we're gonna do another coat now with the slightly, well, it's a silky sealer, so it should gloss it up a little bit. I'm happy with the way the colour's looking at the moment. It's mainly the inconsistency in the texture rather than the colour. I think the colour's fairly uniform. but we are still going to add a little bit of tint into this one, and the anti-slip additive as well. So Jakey's just been round with the leaf blower. It's quite windy today, so I think we're going to have to be on top of the leaf blower. But definitely looking a hell of a lot better than it was when we first started, so that's a bonus. There's a few areas it's a little bit wet here in places. I'm going to get the rag. I've just gone over this with the rag, and the sun's about to come over the top of the trees in a minute, so it should start to dry off by the time. We're going to start at the bottom of the drive this time and work our way backwards. It's quite interesting because it's started to get quite warm. You can see these blisters from the last coat. It's not everywhere, but obviously where we've left too much in between the joints and not managed to scrape it out, there are a few blisters. The second coat's going to re-emulsify all this, and so they should disappear. So I'm not too worried, but it's not ideal. How you feeling, Jakey?
If to blow all this off, it just comes back on.
Yeah, it's a very windy morning. So this morning I brought my little generator with me, just so we can mix this down the bottom here. We've got the anti-slip additive, so we've got the blue lid, which is the silk, and then we've got half a barrel of this and then an empty barrel, so we're just going to sort of combine it all together and split it between two barrels. Can you go around and pick some of the leaves out of the joints? Because they're like stuck in there. Thanks. Not yet. No, my headphones have been going strong for like a month. We haven't charged them once. Literally haven't charged these once, and we've been using them for like a month.
Could you leave that thing?
Yeah, please. Okay, we're all done. I am glad to have that one finished off. Look at these bloody farmers' trucks coming past and all the hay going all over the place. We have leaf blown it all and brushed it off, but not ideal. So it's looking really good. The customer's pleased. There are still a couple of, you can see a slight texture difference in some of the dry areas. I think even another couple of coats wouldn't necessarily sort that, but the colour's definitely consistent, and it's yeah, it's looking really good. I'm really pleased. So we've got another job this afternoon. That second coat took 3 hours, including all the prep and stuff. So I'm gonna go get some lunch, and then we've got some gutters, faces and soffits to clean this afternoon. Oh, we can put this one back out, look. Hey, that's useful. Oh God, ow. Right, that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.